Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you if you are watching live. If you're watching the replay and you're watching some other time, happy whatever day it is to you. And I know I'm going to call out the elephant in the room quick. Normally I do TMJ Tip Tuesdays on Tuesdays. So I just want to let you know I'm still doing the TMJ Tip Tuesday video later today. I'm doing a bonus teacher music related live this morning. And so if you would like to catch today's TMJ Tip Tuesday video, you can check out the link in the description of this video for the group, New and Freelance Music Teacher Community, and that's where I'm going to do my TMJ Tip Tuesdays live. All right? So if you are hoping for that live, go check out that group if you're not there already. I have all of the TMJ Tip Tuesdays archived, I guess you could say, or library cataloged in there already, so you can catch old ones as well. And if that's not your thing, no big deal. All right. But today we're going to talk about how closed doors led me to a place I love now. I'm really excited for this. It's a little trip down memory lane for me in a good way, because it shows so much how if we just look at the moment, we fail to see, when we only look at the present moment, how so many good things can come from some of our hard moments. So that's why I'm excited to talk about this, because it's going to bring fresh perspective to me and fresh gratitude of what God has done in my life. So how closed doors led me to a place I love now. My first teaching job was straight out of school. I finished in December, so I was a December graduate. And I finished and started right away in January in a school in one of the districts nearby here. It was K5 school. And I knew going into that position, it was going to be a challenge. I knew because of the history of the teachers that had two teachers that had already been there that year, and based on what the principal said, and based on talking to a couple other teachers who I happen to know at that school. And what was really cool is that I knew that my first principal was a believer, was a Christian. And so I knew that going into that, even though it was going to be super challenging, that would be a really good place for me to start, because I knew I'd have the type of support in my leadership and administration that I needed. And that was a really good place for me to start. It was very hard. It was very challenging. There were so many days I was like, should I be here? And then I stayed for another year after that. So I was there for a year and a half. But the end of that second year was coming up. And it turns out that based on FTEs, which are full-time equivalent teachers in that district, it was a very big district, I was going to be bumped out because I was the lowest on the tenure, lowest on the totem pole, if you want to call it, in the district. And so they had one less teacher worth of teachers, teacher equivalent. They had one less teacher worth of people that they needed as far as positions go, and one too many people. So I was the one who was going to get bumped out unless somebody else left the district. So someone else took my position. And the funny thing was that person was also looking elsewhere in other districts. So it was really hard for me to know that, and for my principal to know that, because she's like, I want to keep you here, but I can't do that. So turns out I was doing a lot of interviewing other places, and I found another school, the second school I was at, much smaller district, very different feel, even though it wasn't that far away, like 20-minute drive from the first school. And I found another school with a principal who was a believer. And that was such a big blessing. So even though I thought, I finally have a place where I feel like where I've gained momentum, I've started something good, this is really awesome, I have supportive administration, I found another place that was beautiful. And I liked that second place even more than the first place. So it turned out, even though that looked like a closed door to me, it ended up opening up to another really great opportunity. And I grew a lot at that second school, and I learned a ton. And then we had a new principal the next year because the first principal was retiring, slightly early, I think, or earlier than planned. And that was a very big shift, for me anyway. It was a very big shift in our school. The first principal had been there for decades, and it was a really big challenge. And I learned that through that experience, that was another closing door for me. That was another door that was shutting, and I needed to not only accept that, but be looking and exploring other options. And throughout that whole last year, because I was at that other school for I don't know, I can't count, a couple years. And so during that last year with that new principal, though, I had this itch. I had this itch to try something new. And so I realized through some wise words from my husband, what do you have to lose by just going for it? And I'm like, I have nothing to lose. What am I waiting for? Because I had this itch to try going freelance and try out some different options, that some ideas I had in my head for how I could make that work. And then I met my now business mentor in March of that year, and I realized, nope, I can do this. Her guidance and expertise in some of these areas, plus my ideas, are totally going to work. And that was March 2020, which, if you know anything about 2020, was a wild time to make a big change like that. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because now that's where I am. I'm at a place where I teach freelance. I don't have to work full time. I make better money than I did back then. And I love it. And I love my students, and I love the opportunities I'm able to give them. And I love being able to mentor new music teachers. And I love being able to guide teachers who are interested in this side gig, this freelance opportunity, whether it's part-time on top of their full-time gig, or if they're wanting to shift a different direction. I love being able to give people opportunities. And so it's been really cool looking back. I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? We see so much clearer from the future back at the past. But it's so cool to see how some of those closed doors, at the time, I wasn't so sure about them. But really now they led me to a place that is the best place I've ever could be. So I just want to encourage you, if you are in one of those moments where you're like, is this a closed door? Should I be trying to force this door to stay open? Should I be trying, whatever it looks like for you? Just know that if you are leaning into wise counsel, if you're a believer, if you're leaning into what the Lord may have for you, then it's hard to go wrong, right? And we may just find the place or the fit that we love now the most by being courageous and stepping out and saying goodbye to that closing door. So hope you have a great rest of your day. If you liked talking about this and you're a music teacher and you're interested in learning more about the things I do, or all sorts of different conversations we have about, classroom management and all sorts of choir related stuff. I teach a bunch of choirs. So if you like talking about that kind of stuff, or stuff like this today too, we talk about these kinds of things in the new and freelance music teacher community. If you're not watching from there already, if you are watching from there, say good morning in the comments, or just say hello. I love being able to connect with people who are here. I see my friend Meg is watching. Hello, Meg. Oh, and you commented something. You said, being happy in your work makes it not feel like work most days. Amen to that. It totally is true. Yes, there's always going to be little pieces of our work that feel harder than others, right? No job is perfect. So there's always going to be some, whether it's a small piece or a big piece, there's always going to be some piece that's not your favorite. But oftentimes, if you work for yourself, you can hire someone out to do the piece that you don't love the most. You can hire a VA or something. So really, you can make it work for you pretty well. But I digress. If you want to join us, come join us. We'd love to see you there. And I'll catch you again later if you're in that group for the TMJ Tip Tuesday video. And if not, I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.